and welcome to my ePortfolio. I have actually started this for a different class and have added onto it for this class. Just a brief overview. The home page has kind of details about me, like a general overview, and then the About Me tab has more details and some pictures of the most important parts of my life, like my family, friends, church. I also included my educational philosophy and my resume is on here as well. And finally, a tab that says Be Inspired, which is basically why I want to become a teacher and why you should study now for college. This is to encourage students who find my ePortfolio to find out how I got to where I am and the things that I have to do, because I do have assignments from all my classes in these tabs. So for this class, I will go into the Education 385 Instructional Approaches to Social Studies. For my home page, I included the Dear Future Generations paper that we had to do about what we expect and what we want to learn from social studies and why it is important. It's just a good way to open up social studies. The next part I have is the annual pacing guide. There's the unit plans that we planned in class and the social studies unit. I included the PDF and the file because some of these links do not work through the PDF and you need to open the actual file to get into them. The next tab will be the lesson plans and ideas that I have for my future education class. This is the first lesson plan that we did, and then here's the second one, the integrated one, and I put social studies with physical education. I did include my original lesson plan and the one I revised after speaking with my professor. And then finally I have the PowerPoint on here as well. The PowerPoint does include all the supplements to actually finish this assignment, and teachers can borrow it and use it. I have mapping ideas that can help students learn how to do mapping and understand maps. I have an example of a cartogram that I created for the class, and also the Plato economics lessons, so we can show how to incorporate hands-on tools to teach economics. There's also the twin text assignment on here, which is kind of a mini integrated lesson where you combine literature with social studies, and it shows how I can incorporate two subjects into one and kind of interest more students in the lesson. Finally, I have an example of my multiple assessment and how I would test for understanding. Another one I have on here is technology involvement, which shows how I will incorporate technology like Google Earth and using the biography maker, and my reflection is on there as well for both. Lastly on here is the community and parent involvement tab, where I talk about how I was involved with the community through the community service. There's a video on here about it too, and also the cultural learning experience, about how I can understand other cultures and expand on inclusivity and diversity in my classroom. And I also have on here moral dilemma to show parents and students how I would deal with problems in the classroom or outside the classroom. And lastly, I have a parent involvement page, which is the questions that we had to do to respond to how we would get parents involved within the social study units. I think the most rewarding assignment was the community service, and it was also the most challenging because it was kind of difficult to find the community service and find time for it, but it was the most rewarding because I learned a lot and I did things that were out of my field and not with it related to education. It got me to see the perspective of other people. For example, the Inland Valley Hope Partners, a community service that I did, they were mostly senior citizens in there, and it was weird to see them like working so hard at something at that old of an age, and it just gave them something to do, and they talked about how they really enjoyed coming, and it was something new, and I really enjoyed the experience, and I think that I'll start going more often instead of like just for credit. And I think the assignment that shows that I'm a teacher, I think actually be this ePortfolio assignment, where it brings together everything that I've learned and it shows my growth over the last 2 years as I'm studying for the educational studies degree. I will be continuing to add to this. I'll post a link in the submission folder, and hopefully you can go through it in a little bit more depth and enjoy it. Thank you for listening to my presentation.